great content tonight, great value, even tonight, that I'm super excited to be presenting to you. All right. So first, let's jump into a recap of the amazing things that we've done already this week. So day one, we broke into the stories, the background, the three main principles of dynamic psychology and mind-body nutrition, how they relate, and how the mind and the body is absolutely important and pertinent in understanding that connection, right? So we dove into those three concepts, or three principles on day one. Day two, stinking thinking, right? So we really touched on the different biological and psychological reasons why you may be having certain reactions and relationships with food, and the stinking thinking concepts that are associated with those, where they may have come from and stemmed from, and how we can start to shift that mindset, right? So that we can have that awesome relationship with food, because that relationship is the great teacher telling you what's going on in your body, right? Hi, Anne-Marie. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Drop an emoji. Let me know how your day is going. Just in a simple recap before we dive into day 5 content, okay? Day 3, we went into the 4 things you can add right now into your life to feel more health and more vibrancy, more energy, thriving, right? 4 things that you can add right now that are not necessarily just food, right? It's not just food. Should be fun, food should be loved, and it should be utilized to get the pleasure, have relationships, have connection. It's a tool, it's a gateway, right, towards living. And so those are the 4 things we could do. That's what we covered on day 3 now, to really start to set your body up for health, right? And then yesterday we made it simple, all right? So we talked about some simple things that we can do now to even more so thrive and in our health, making it simple. How is healthy eating, healthy living done simply, right? So it doesn't have to be super complex and time consuming and overwhelming, right? And so today we're going to jump into one of my favorite topics, and this topic can actually go into almost any category in your life. And so I'm going to connect it to how it's important with food, in your relationship with food and your health in general. All right. So we're going to be talking about habits and accountability. So this is absolutely important, because the things that we've covered the last 4 days are not the mainstream concepts. They're not the things like maybe drinking water. You've probably heard people push drinking water, right? And, but some of the things we talked about are not the normal accepted concepts around food, right? And that relationship, and they're not the things that mainstream is pushing. And so really establishing a habit and having accountability with the shift towards your relationship with food is of the utmost importance. And so we're going to cover 4 things about that today, all right? So drop an emoji, say hi, let me know how your day's going. Super excited you guys are here. Yay, even on Friday night. Woo woo, you're here. I'm so happy. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love you guys' commitment, your energy, your presence has been so amazing this week, and I've been so blessed to have you guys. So drop an emoji, let me know how you guys are doing. Don't forget, I love hearts. So feel free to send out some hearts whenever you feel so led. And let's dive into day 5. All right. So number 1, I love to give people the benefit of doubt that most people know what they need to be doing for their body. All right. You've been living in this body your whole life. You've heard what are healthy foods. You've heard these concepts presented in a way of these are bad, this is good, work out, drink water, all yada, 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 right? So for the most part, except for some of the things that we've covered this week that were a little unconventional, for the most part, people know what they need to be doing. So why aren't people doing it? Right? That is the question. If it was just about exercise and dieting, everybody would be skinny. Because I really don't think people are that lazy. Like, we're hardworking people. We are, especially people who've been on diets over and over again. Like, those people, they're determined, right? They are trying to get this off. They are doing the work. They are putting in the effort. They're learning this whole new style. They're writing all these meal plans down. Like, I give people the benefit of the doubt that they're not lazy and you guys know what to do. So why is it that people are still stuck in this cycle, right? And it comes down to 3 things, okay? So, number 1, motivation is overrated. Motivation is overrated. All right? You can get motivated to do something, but your feelings and your environment are going to trump motivation in the end. 100%. Every time. People who have made massive changes in their life, people who have accomplished massive goals, did not get there on motivation alone. Olympic athletes didn't get there because they were motivated by winning a trophy. Same thing happens. The same concepts can be incorporated into your relationship with food and your health goals and all of that. Motivation can only get you so far. Why do you think 95% of people fall off of their January resolutions by the second week of January? Because motivation can only get you so far. That's not what makes a lifestyle change. All right? It's your habits. So, majority of adults live on autopilot. It is literally how our brain is wired. And so once you have established, which most of us have established, a way of being, a way of eating, a way of having a relationship with food, a way of thinking, a way of sleeping or not sleeping, like the way you move through your day is mostly on autopilot. And nothing against everybody. This is literally how our body is designed. It understands survival. It likes to go for comfort. It likes to go for pleasure. It likes to put things in boxes and organize. This is how our human brains and bodies are created to be, to make it through and go through the day. And so, if you stop and think about it, what is something, if you were to actually take a second, we're going to do a little activity here, okay? Think about it. What is something that you do every single day, and it wasn't until you sat down right now and you're thinking about it that you don't even really think about it, that you're doing it almost every single day? We have our basics like breathing, right? But we even went into that on Wednesday, where we were talking about even becoming consciously aware of your breathing is a change for your body, right? So that one right there is a big general. We don't consciously think about breathing. But one thing I know is I set my keys down in the same spot. Every time I get in the car, I have like a little, like almost ritual of things I do, and I'm not even consciously aware of it until something is out of place. My kids moved something, and then all of a sudden I'm like triggered into, wait, why isn't that there? That's always there. Like if you're moving, I don't know if you've ever moved, right? And you're starting to pack boxes, and then like you get up in the middle of the night and you like stub your toe because there was a box there that normally isn't there because you're in autopilot to go from your bed to your bathroom, right? And you're not even like fully aware of what, that could happen with anything. Kids leaving Legos on the floor, right? So those automations, autopilot is happening the majority of the time once you become an adult. And that's where habits come into play. They become habits. They become habits, right? Things that we do develop into habits. And so the same thing with our relationship with food. Your thinking process, the things you're eating, the places you go to eat, the stuff you buy, even that way you go through the grocery store. I'm pretty sure if you think about it, you have a habit of how you navigate through the grocery store and which aisles you go to, which aisles you don't go to. Or if you are like some people I know, they go down every single aisle, right? Some people are like couponers, like they only go for the coupons. Like we have a way of doing everything habitually. And so breaking those habits is so much harder than if we were like to put it on a scale, like say like the old school weighted scales, right? It's like motivation and habits. Our habits are going to outweigh motivation all the time. Like, right? How fast we eat. Yes, Tony. Yeah, that's a habit, right? It's something you have developed. And yeah, so we were talking like about the army. Stephanie had posted about the army, right? And how she had learned to eat fast in the army. With a habit she developed, and now even though she's now no longer in a situation that might need you to eat fast and get back on the gun and get back out there on the ground, she's still doing it, right? She has developed this habit, right? And not to call you out in a bad way. I'm just saying that was a great example. Good job, Tony. Awesome. So, motivation is overrated, all right? The other thing that is a huge impactor on why we haven't seen that shift is your environment. And that's not just where you are in the world or what ecosystem you live in, right? Like we talk about with animals, but what you have in your home, right? If you are not the only adult, you might not be the only person bringing food into the house. And that can play an effect, right? We are usually, like this is a big generalization, but for the most part, it is true. You are the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. And this talks about everything. Like your income is probably right in the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. Your reading habits are probably in the average of the 5 people you hang out with most. Your eating habits are going to be the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. Okay, so you're starting to see the pattern here, right? This can, like I said, this lesson today can really translate into many other areas of your life. But definitely, super awesome to think about when we're talking about shifting our eating habits and our relationship with food and finding that healthy, thriving relationship with our bodies, right? So if that's the case, what you bring into the home, what is present, what's around you when you get hungry, what other people are eating around you, how other people feel about food, how they talk about their body, how fast they eat, right? Believe me, I am that weird person who is always the last person sitting at the table with my family. Everybody has finished and they leave because my family's not big on conversations and just sitting around the table. So they eat and then they go out and do their Sunday afternoon activities, because we hang out on Sundays usually. And I'm just sitting there. I'm not done. I'm going to take my time. And that's something that I have to be consciously aware of. But in social situations, that's kind of awkward sometimes to be the one still eating. I've owned it, but but it's hard when, you're accustomed to a certain way and people, you have to get used to. People are going to be like, you're not done yet? Like, you know what I mean? That's going to be a change, and that's going to be something that you're going to have to be aware of, right? Whatever choices, empowered choices you take towards your healthy relationship with food, there's going to be some pushback from your environment, right? When you try to change the pantry and you no longer want the non-food items in your house, there might be some pushback from some of the other people in your home that still want the non-food items in the house, right? And so forth, right? So I could keep going on with different examples, but yes, your environment plays a huge role with your daily interactions with everything. You're the average of the 5 people around you, most, the closest to you. Okay? So, how can we change our habits? So how do we change it, right? And this, again, can be applied to any kind of habit, anything that you want to change. However, I highly suggest you pick one thing at a time. If you try to go for like, I'm going to become this person over here, and you list out all these different changes, it's much more challenging on your body and your mind, and there's a higher rate for fallout if you try to take on too many at one time. Because like I said, our bodies are naturally prone to want to be in our autopilot, our habits, right? So there are 4 different ways that you can make your habits stick, and how you can create new habits, I should say. Okay? Well, let me see what Tony just messaged. Talking and spending time at dinner table helps with digestion, right? And not on your phone. Yes. Yes. Being present, and taking that time, again, because that's that connection, that's that community, especially if it's a group of people that you enjoy talking to. If you are eating slowly and enjoying your food and enjoying the conversation, and even if you finish and you spend a couple, 15, 20 minutes or whatever sitting there, engaging in conversations, enjoying that company, feeling relaxed, right? You're definitely going to improve that digestion and that assimilation of the food. Yes. So, yep, definitely. And then, going to your phone, depending on what you're doing on your phone, could trigger more of a stress response. Like if you eat slowly and calmly and then you jump right into emails and all of a sudden you're back in crisis mode and you haven't finished digesting, then, it could definitely affect that. All right? Great question. Awesome. So 4 things. There are 4 things that help make habits stick. Okay? So, number 1 is make it obvious. It seems simple, but it's true. Like if there's something, which Tony, you had a great suggestion with the water. My water follows me around. But like a couple people mentioned they had forgotten to be drinking water this week, right? And they know it. Again, we know the benefits. Most people know the benefits of the basic choices of healthy eating, right? And healthy living. Making it obvious. Having that water beside your bed, so when you wake up, it's right there in your face, hello, you need to start drinking water now. That's making it obvious. That is the first step. Putting your tennis shoes and your fitness outfit out right by the toilet in the morning, or wherever you can set your clothes, right? When you get up and if you have chosen that you want to go for a walk or run in the morning, first thing when you wake up, if you set that stuff out right there ready to go, it's obvious. It's in your face, right? Have your, salads in a jar lined up right there on the top shelf. It's obvious when you open the fridge. Oh, that's what I'm having for lunch today. Bam. It's right in your face. It's obvious. Okay? Number 2, make it more attractive. All right? We like things to be attractive. So if some people go out and spend all this money on a gym membership and, but they don't like going to the gym, right? But they like walking out in nature. And which one's more attractive, right? There's no point in going and spending money on a gym if you don't like being in the gym, if you don't like being around other people sweating on stuff and a lot of people watching you work out. If that makes you uncomfortable, that's not attractive. It might be a great goal, but it's not attractive, right? Whereas, say you really like cheesecake, really attracted by cheesecake. Well, there's some really cool vegan cheesecakes out there. And I mentioned the vegan portion because they're made with cashew and flaxseed and some other really awesome ingredients that are high nutritional value. And so it's actually really healthy. But it's a cheesecake. So you can eat your cake, right? and enjoy it too. So make it, like the vibrancy, like that's another cool thing about eating the rainbow, which we talked about yesterday, right? When you have a colorful plate like that, it can be really exciting. Like having all the different colors popping out at you, that's like, it's fun. Like you're like, it's almost like the same mentality you get when you had sprinkles as a kid. You might still eat sprinkles, but you know what I mean. That like popping color, right? Like you have this beautiful plate. It's not just like breaded chicken and mashed potatoes and a piece of bread and it's all like beige, right? You're like, oh, this tastes really good, but it's not that same visual, right? So if you like, more salty foods and, find find creative ways to make your healthy choices more satisfyingly attractive. I'm starting to get into my other one. Make it satisfying, right? I kind of blended, which is good. It was a nice shift. So also make it satisfying. Make it something that you are going to, so this is 3, make it satisfying. You're going to feel a benefit from it, okay? So the one meal plan that we've mentioned a couple times this week where she was feeling deprived, right? That's not satisfying. That's not going to turn into a habit. And another way you could do that is even giving yourselves incentives. So this is something we utilize in like classrooms as teachers, little stickers and stars, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be immediate gratification from the choice you made, but giving yourself some kind of satisfaction from making that choice, right? So if you choose, all right, this week I'm going to have a nice full salad that has a lot of different colors in it every day for lunch, right? And then once I've eaten all that different nutrients and whatever, I'm going to have this piece of chocolate. So once I finish this healthy, really full salad of things that I like and enjoy, I'm going to make that choice. I'm going to be empowered in what food I'm going to eat, and I'm going to eat the rainbow. I'm going to follow it with this little chocolate bar. Because why not? I've just put a bunch of nutrition in my body, and I love chocolate. So I'm going to satisfy myself with my chocolate bar because I made a good choice. I know that seems super silly as an adult to think, oh, I'm going to reward myself. But it works. When you're trying to change a habit, it helps. Okay? And again, it doesn't have to be a salad, but whatever, healthy choice that I just keep going back to that because we talked about salads in a jar yesterday. So, yeah, so that make it satisfying, whether it's within that, like choosing a food that you really love, like cheesecake, and finding a healthier option. And then that way you're able to eat something that you feel very proud of, that you made this. It's full of nutrition and it tastes really good because it's cheesecake. Why not, right? Like a lot of people were mentioning your mac and cheese, Tony, and you're like, that looks really good, and you're like, well, it's filled with these vegetables and nutritional yeast and this is what's in it, and ta-da. Does that make sense? Drop a comment, drop an emoji. Does it make sense, these 3 things? I know there's a delay, so. Excuse me, I have a tickle in my throat. All right, make it easy. So that's the last one. Make it easy, which we talked about yesterday, right? Excuse me, sorry. All right, so making it easy. Again, so some of these things go hand in hand. Anne-Marie, makes sense. Awesome. Tony, heart. Yay, good, perfect. I'm getting this time delay down almost. Right? Cool. So, make it obvious. Put it right there in your face. This is what I'm changing. This is what I'm doing. It's right here in my face. I'm going to wake up and it's going to be right there. Big old, dry erase marker across your mirror. Do this. Right? Really obvious, right in your face. Make it attractive. Make it something you actually want to do. Make choices for things that you actually find attractive, right? It's going to be a lot harder to jump from a double bacon cheeseburger to a kale and mango salad if you've never eaten kale and mango that often, right? Like, that's a huge jump. So we start to find something slower but satisfying, something that you enjoy, that you want to do. If you don't want to go to the gym, but you like walking in nature, don't get the gym membership yet. Go walk in nature, right? Like, Colleen is one of those. She goes walking on her lunch break every day, and she like just loves being in the sun. She loves going out in nature. She's got this beautiful pathway when she's walking, right? And she's like, I love it. This is something I love to do. And she gets it in every day because it's something that's attractive to her, right? And so it really has to be attractive when you're starting that path. And then, yeah, I mean, we dedicated all day yesterday to make it easy, make it simple. Making health simple makes you able to turn it into a habit. Once it becomes a habit, it's like autopilot. It becomes autopilot. Like I said, those 3 things that I shared yesterday, those are my 3 go-to time-saving simple meals. And they're like autopilot now. Like, I don't even know how I would not eat that way yet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, this is how I eat. This is how I make lunch. I literally throw salmon and asparagus in the oven and bam, I've got my glass pan meal. And it's super healthy and it's super easy. Sasha's reading my mind tonight. Cheesecake, chocolate, and nature walks. That's awesome. See, we got it going. We got it going. Yes, I think I'm wanting cheesecake too. That's probably where it came from. So yeah. Awesome. So yeah, so those are the 4 habits, all right? Those are the 4 things that make a habit stick. If it doesn't hit one of those 4 criteria, motivation is overrated. Okay? It's only going to get you so far. Then you're going to wake up and you're going to be tired. And you're going to wake up and you're just going to want to eat this. Or you're going to go out and run out the door and didn't grab something because it was back and hiding behind. And then you're like, oh crap, I forgot my lunch. Now I have to revert back to my what I used to do for food, right? And so you have to make it easy. You have to make it attractive. You have to make it obvious. And you've got to make it satisfying in order for it to really stick. And it takes a good 30 days, 20 to 30 days for a habit to really start to stick for you to do it. Otherwise, you're just going to fall back into autopilot. And that's why there was a couple people in here going, oh my goodness, yeah, I feel better when I drink water. Thanks for reminding me. Like, I need to start drinking more water. Again, that goes back to that first thing I said. I give you guys the benefit of the doubt. We know what we're supposed to do. And there is some things that we talked about this week that have been, completely different than what's out there and scientifically based and stuff like that. But yeah, like, that's what we got to do. We got to turn those into habits, really check your environment. And last thing, accountability and mentoring. This really, really matters. Okay? So you can take everything that I've talked about this week. You can take these habit building strategies that I'm giving you today. I'm giving you all of the tools that you need to go forth and really live a super successful, healthy, thriving life, right? Get down to your ideal body weight, and really, start to enjoy your relationship with food. However, it is so much easier to do it when you have accountability and when you have or a mentor that's giving you accountability. That's what I do. That's what health coaches are there for. We are that mentorship. We are that accountability partner. You don't have to get it. You could pick a friend who's doing it with you. But you have to have somebody that's really accountable. And if you can tell somebody who's supposed to be holding you accountable to just, screw you, or you're pissed off, or you just ignore them, they're not a good accountability partner. Your spouse is not a good accountability partner, right? Your best friend might be, but then again, if you have that kind of connection where you can just be like, blow off what they're saying and still love them and they still love you, it's probably not the best accountability partner, right? And so when it comes to having an accountability partner or a mentor, there's somebody who is further along in their walk, right? It's somebody that knows what they're talking about. It's somebody that's going to check in and be real with you in the most loving way, right? And it's like, this is what you need to do because you want to do it, not because I'm telling you to do it, right? And that's what coaches are. So I've already mentioned it once or twice this week or whatever. But if you have that relationship, like think of like an Olympic athlete, they still have coaches. Like they are the best of the best of the best in the world, and they still have a coach. Some of the most successful people, Bill Gates still has a mentor, right? Like the most successful people in the world have a mentor or a coach guiding them along that path of where they want to go, because it gives them accountability, it keeps them on their toes, so to speak, depending on what sport or whatever, you're getting on, and it keeps them moving forward. And so when it comes to making a shift, as important as your relationship with food, it's impertinent to have that accountability. So, I mean, I would be honored to be that for you. I spoke to the offer. I'm not going to get into it again tonight too much. But, yeah, I mean, it's a $3,000 off. It's an incredible offer. But I've been so appreciative of having you guys here this week. And so I do want to put it out there. I do want to offer it. It's not a must. I'm not going to, like, cold turkey you and say we can never be friends and talk together. No. But if you have health goals, you have weight loss or a relationship with food, and you're trying to make some habit changes, right? Having that accountability is of the utmost importance. All right? Any questions? Any questions about anything from this week? Because that was today's little thing. And again, that can be applied. Today's can be applied to anything, but it's super important when it comes to your relationship with food. We really dove into a lot of different content. I really gave you guys a lot of information this week. And I was trying not to give you too much, but I still wanted to give you value. I wanted to give you the tools and the ideas that you need to have that freedom from that negative relationship with food, right? So that you can go forth, love what you're eating, love your body, live with energy and vibrance and thriving. And so today's topic really ties it in, because it allows you to take everything that I've given you and how do you apply it moving forward, right? And how does it keep lasting? And so that's why we did habits and accountability, because those are the two main things that really will stalemate and bring people back to being stuck in a place that they don't want to be in, right? So, any questions from this week at all? I just see cheesecake right across the bottom of my screen. We're all going to go make cheesecake now. No, I'm just kidding. Any questions at all? Any thoughts? Sorry, I still need to see yesterday, so I feel a little bit behind. Oh, no worries. It's a fun one. It's just simple ways of making healthy stick. So yeah, it's a definitely must-see. But it doesn't really, like I said, doesn't super interfere with today's. It just, today helps you take the other stuff that I learned and be able to apply it, so it's long lasting, right? And you can do it, especially if you realize motivation is overrated. You're not going to feel like it. You're going to want to do things the way you used to do it. People are going to come into your life and tell you you're not right, you're not doing it right, that's bogus, I don't know where you heard that from, right? The naysayers are going to come up when you go against the grind of your environment, your norm, right? And that's where it's amazing to have that accountability and mentorship. So that's what but that, and again, this can be applied to anything. So this topic today is super cool because you guys, learned something that can change any part of your life if there's something that you need or desire to change. I used a lot of there was a lot of words today that I probably would like to tweak. But I really, when it comes to habits, it's kind of black and white because our bodies are designed to be autopilot. But the things that I've taught you this week help you to empower yourself so that you can shift those habits into healthier habits and live that really thriving life.